Hello everybody, welcome back, doing another deck tech. Today, got another Pioneer list for you. This one is called Elephant Henge, named after Greenbelt Rampager and the Great Henge. Yes. So what this deck does is it's trying to cast as many Greenbelt Rampagers in a turn as you possibly can. So it's trying to use its downside. Normally you have to cast it thrice, before it sticks. I'm actually trying to cast it even more times than that and almost never have it stick. And the reason for that is there are a lot of cards that go really well with casting a 1 green card several times in a turn. For instance, Pelt Collector and Experiment 1 here, other 1-drops in the deck, both benefit from this, whether it's Evolve or Pelt Collector's weird almost Evolve.
Yeah, he basically evolved, but
he gets trampled.
He was a keyword.
Yeah. It is worth noting Experiment 1 grows to 4, and Pelt Collector can only grow to 3.
Yeah, Pelt Collector only cares about power,
yeah.
And Experiment 1 will also check toughness.
But he gets Trample, he gets Regenerate. They both have their uses, but they're essentially the same card. So just some redundancy there. And then we get to 2-drops, which is fun. So Anafenza, whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield, you bolster 1. The thing about that is, yeah, if you can cast this 3 times in a turn, you can just grow your...
As long as the toughness, as long as the 4/3 or the...
Sure.
Like, it has the 4 toughness, but so mostly you can grow all your creatures massively before it actually starts sticking to only the elephant.
Well, and if the elephant's coming back to your hand, you can stack it such that the elephant will return before bolster triggers, so we'll be able to see it anyway. But yeah, that is a consideration. Like I've had a few games on Magic Online where I've played like a Pelt Collector and forgot that the bolster is going to put all the counters on him because he's the smallest. So then when I go nuts with the like Greenbelt Rampager or whatever, I end up having to pump the weaker guys. But either way, I mean, you can get some pretty nutty turns, just Anafenza and then Greenbelt 3 times. Like, that's pretty nuts. Yeah. And then we have Avatar of the Resolute, which is Reach Trample, enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter for each creature with a +1/+1 counter on it. Conveniently, these 8 1-drops here get +1/+1 counters. That's sort of their thing.
And his fellow is another +1/+1 counters. So.
Yeah, so there's quite a bit of utility there. Usually he comes in at least at like 5 or 6, I would say, power. And you can rebuy him later, which I will get to in a bit. Yeah, so we get to 3 drops. We have Renegade Rallier, very good with Greenbelt Rampager because it's leaving the battlefield, triggering a Revolt. This, of course, just lets you sort of rebuild if your opponent sort of undoes some of your work. You can always just, you know, suicide one of these guys, play him, get back an Avatar or something, which at that point in the game will probably be larger. Pretty good stuff, generally. Then we got 4 drops. We have Beast Whisperer. I'm running 2 of these. I was torn between running that one and there's an enchantment, a 3-mana enchantment that does a similar thing, but it only triggers on creatures with power 3 or greater. But the issue with that is that a lot of these don't enter with power 3 or greater. Only the elephant does, and only the Avatar, and him, I guess, do. But these 1-drops don't, and Anafenza doesn't. So that was my reasoning behind running the 4-drop creature. But yeah, Beast Whisperer, pretty good. Whenever you cast a creature spell, draw a card. Cast Rampager 3 times in a turn, there's 3 cards. Boom. Then we get 2 non-creature spells. So this one's sort of important. Season of Growth. It just lets you get some filtering in with scrying with a bunch of creatures, and occasionally you get to draw a card off of its second ability with Justiciar's Portal here, which is a 2-mana Cloud Shift, basically. It exiles target creature you control, returns it to the battlefield immediately, and it gains First Strike, which maybe is sometimes useful. But mostly, this is in here to rebuy the elephant, because if you play the elephant on the 3rd go, he sticks, and then you flicker him, and then he goes back to your hand, so you keep doing it.
Now suddenly you don't have any energy again.
Yeah, because he's a
back to your hand.
He's an elephant. Yeah, but you can also do stuff like flickering a Renegade Rallier is pretty sweet, because then he triggers off himself. Anyway. Avatar is also pretty good. You can get your opponent pretty good if you like have a couple of 1-drops out and a small-ish Avatar. You can just flicker it, it comes back, recalculates, and it's bigger than before. Yeah, so pretty good stuff. Running 3 collected companies because there are some misses. I mean, everything in this category is a miss, but there are also plenty of hits, so pretty good card, generally. And then the Great Henge, which is, I would say, probably, other than the Elephant, one of the most important cards in the deck, because not only does it get really cheap if you have an avatar that's fairly large, but it gives you a little bit of life, it gives you a little bit of mana, and it draws you a card every time a creature enters, and it pumps that creature. So you can do some pretty
and it gives the
nutty
counter
stuff.
to it, which helps the avatar even more.
Yes, definitely. And Pelt Collector as well, because he does gain Trample in the late game. Yeah, so that's a pretty sweet one. If you have Great Henge with Elephant going, you're probably in pretty good shape. So then, get down here to lands, pretty standard stuff. It's a green-white deck, so Sunpale Grove. It's possible we should be running 4 Temple Gardens, but I could only find 3. So I'm running a Fortified Village as my 4th Temple Garden. Why not? And the most important land, though, by far, is this Aether Hub, because what that can let you do is use up your energy so you can basically just keep going with the Elephant and never have it land. You just eat the energy that it makes, and then, yeah, you can just sort of keep going that way, as long as you spend that energy on something else or just waste it.
You just spend it on the Elephant.
Well, you
recast it.
You
and
could.
Get 1 energy.
Yeah.
And yeah, like the next turn you can use that energy again.
Sure.
Once you go off, you kind of need the use or just let it burn out.
It is generally better, though, I find, to just, like, use this as much as possible. Like, even if you just have an extra energy on the end of your opponent's turn and untap Aether up, just use it up. Because most of the time you want the Elephant to bounce, not come into play. So that's the deck. I like it. It's been a blast to play online. And,
For basics.
oh yeah, for
It's
basics.
a 7-3 split.
Yes, 7-3.
You do have the double white there, but for the most case, that's a later game cast anyway.
Plus Aether Hub can sort of get
Plus you have enough of the white that really you have more double green than you have double white, so it's important to have the green.
Plus, usually, for me at least, the way I play this deck, I usually don't like running Anafenza out unless I also have a follow-up play, because if it just gets killed without at least using it once, usually not the greatest. Yeah, so that's this deck, and we will see you next time.
Bye!